Thank you all for coming. So the theme is curiosity, right? So how many of you have been curious about this building, just like driving by? Cool. And how many of you have actually been here before, even if it was like next door or beforehand or anything like that? Cool. And how many of you have not been here before? Yay! Yay! So you guys were all curious enough to come here, so give yourself a round of applause. Yay! So there's something about this space that brings in creative people. So you can see all the artwork on the wall. When you're driving down the interstate, it just kind of sparks that. So first, we have to say thank you to everyone who's contributed to the Movement Sanctuary. I mean, there's so many people in this room that I could tell you that you helped with this, you helped with that. Like, I can tell you, like, I see people who donated to our Indiegogo, Andreka and Ariel, and Billy's played here before, and Lindsay was a big help, and I mean, we have our instructors, Chris here. All 5 people that were up here a minute ago were all students here. Yeah. So, thanks, guys! Yeah. Thank you for participating. But just, this space is so much bigger than the 3 of us up here, and so we just really are just so happy to give this back to St. Pete. Thinking about curiosity and the definition, I intentionally didn't look up the definition at all because I was curious to see if we could what we can come up with. But talking to people, you know, there's a few words that come to mind. I think a sense of wonder and a sense of imagination. Something I heard last night was desire as well. I also asked my mom, and she said it's the need to, or the want to know everything. So there's this thirst for knowing, but with that wonderment, like, there's this unknown aspect to it, right? So with the unknown, there is a fear of the unknown. So there's this split second of fear with curiosity that you have to face every single time you're curious about something. So whether you're curious about, you know, how this building was built or how we ended up in this space today, there's action behind it. And so with action, a lot of times there's fear. So with the Movement Sanctuary, every single day, I mean, we are curious about our bodies and the way that we're moving, and if we, you know, change our wrists in one thing that we're doing, if we're climbing a sill, can we do it better? I mean, it's curiosity about the way that our body functions, and you're so present in that moment that it really forces you to just be aware of your surroundings, to be aware of yourself, and it's a get out of your head and get into your body, which I'm sure Jess is going to talk about once we start moving, because that's one of our biggest themes here is just getting into your body and knowing it. So yeah, types of fear. I mean, there's fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of missing out. Anyone had FOMO before? Get FOMO out of your head. I do it all the time too, but where your eyes, where you're supposed to be. And then one thing, when we are curious and we want to know, and this desire, this need to like find out more information, it takes only a few seconds of courage to face that fear. So whether it's an action verbally or mentally or emotionally or physically, it's really only those 3 seconds to do it. So if, you know, I'm with Chris and we're doing this thing upside down, I'm a little scared, it's just like you have to commit and do it. So I think that's applicable to anything that we're doing in life. And just know that, I mean, obviously she's not scared to be up here right now. She just came up, and it's our little mascot, Lulu. Just think about, hey, I only have to make this one decision. It's only going to take a couple seconds, and once you do it, you feel really good. Does that sound about right in a lot of aspects of life? So it could be asking someone out on a date, or standing up for yourself, or buying a plane ticket to an unknown country. You just have to make that commitment, so let's do it. So about movement and curiosity, talked about the present moment. Sorry, these are my notes, and so. This morning, I mean, for example, if you're moving around, you feel so good afterwards, right? So there's this mental clarity that kind of comes with movement when you're stretching or running, or if you're going on a walk downtown, it just clears your mindset. So when you're curious about movement and you're curious about what's going on, there is a mental aspect to it. And so not to get super preachy or too into like political agenda right now, but you know, there's a lot of talk about mental health right now, especially this week. So I really think that in some way what we're doing is really great for mental health as well. So you don't have to be like this crazy acrobat either to do these things. Like, Tara, were you an acrobat? Like,
no, girl.
Yeah, so I mean, were you surprised sometimes when you were doing things you like never thought you'd do it?
Yeah,
and
it's super scary to come here.
It's scary just to come here, guys. Like, let alone to try a class. Like, so we just want to make it comfortable and approachable. Like, this place is a wacky place, right? Like, we want you to come and have fun. How many gyms do you see people like laughing the whole time during class? So like literally we have people laughing. So which one? Oh, one gym, this one? Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying this is kind of our way. I mean, we have swing dancers, break dancers, jujitsu people, and also like we just started a juggling club and there's a flow club, and so we're this home for all these curious people, all these like niche movements to come and have a place to practice. So that's really cool.
It's really interesting. The space really has drawn certain people in that have faced their fear and stepped into their curiosity. Like, what is this about? Then they come in and they want to add to it. And so a lot of this we did not expect. The events, the installations, like we built it and they came literally.
Yeah.
So, and we're just kind of rolling with it. But ultimately, the three of us have a background in acro yoga and standing acrobatics. So. We really wanted to have that be a part of the space, and it really is the pulse of this space. It's community. Ultimately, if you're curious what acro yoga is about, it's about connection. And you just learn so much about yourself, about a friend if you bring a friend or a partner. And you really just have to be patient and trust yourself and trust in the person that you're working with. So honestly, it's yogis profess to like taking their practice off the mat, and acro yoga is exactly the same. And essentially, it's taking acrobatics and the intention of yoga and placing it together, which really is a beautiful thing. So that's fostered community, and man, look what you can do with community. This space just speaks that we're like, wow, we can do anything. We have a bunch of athletes on our team that know how to work together, that can collaborate, and have insane endurance. So we got so much done in a small amount of time because of that. So I'd like to thank everyone who came here, and even just you being here for the first time, you're contributing to the energy of this space. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
So, something else that's really magical that acro does is it brings back in that playful touch that we used to have when we were a kid. A lot of times in society today, it's violent touch or sexual touch. And that's what you experience as an adult. And it's actually like, it's trained out of you in school. You get in trouble for horseplay and goofing around. And what we do is we bring that back here. And that sense of play and having fun and working with each other, the communication and the trust that goes into that, it carries over into your regular life. Right? You communicate with those around you on a whole nother level. You realize like repeating yourself isn't going to get the point across if you're not changing up what you're saying. And a lot of times we just like say the same thing again and expect a different result. And that's the definition of insanity. So, and it puts your body under stress because you're working really hard, maybe at the limits of your body's capabilities. And so putting that stress on and then trying to think straight and be able to change up your words or even find the words. Sometimes it's just hard to get a word out, let alone make it not sound stressed when you're trying to communicate to the person. And so the more you do it, the more you put your body in that situation, the more we adapt to it, and the more we can rise to overcome any obstacle that comes in front of us. So.
For sure. All right, so kind of closing remarks before we actually start getting into a demo. It's just be curious about your body. I mean, we're so up here all the time. Like, just get into it and just be aware when the sunshine is on you and being present. I don't want to sound like too preachy or anything, but I think that's the biggest takeaway from here is if you're curious about movement, this is definitely a home to come try it. Or if you don't want to, whatever, that's your thing. You don't have to try it, we want you to. But you can come to like a gathering like this, and we have so many different outlets that we're offering here as well. So even if you want to come for music or something like that, you can do it.
And how well do you really know your body? Like, look at your hand and try to touch just your pinky to your palm without moving any of your other fingers. Yeah, nobody can. And you've been in your body how many years? And you can't operate, you can't tell it to do what you want and have it listen. And that's not just, it's mobility restrictions built up over many, many years from not firing all the neurons together to be able to do these individual activities. And then you build up these restrictions in your body so you can't. And it's really hard work to start opening it up and expanding and be able to move like we're supposed to, anatomically correct instead of fighting gravity. But over time, we slouch and we round our shoulders and our head sticks forward and we don't walk right, and it just gets worse and worse and perpetuates the problems. So I want you all to stand up, and we want to separate the sides of what our bodies are doing. So our right arms are going to do 3 beats, and our left arms are going to do 2 beats.
Okay,
so
everyone spread out.
Yeah, let's have some room. Our arms are going to go to the sides, so just make sure that
space.
no one's to your side. So we're going to do the right arm together. It's going to go up to the side and down. Up to the side and down. The left arm's just going up and down. Up and down. All right? So I'm going to only call out what the right arm's doing. The left arm is just going up and down, okay? So up, side, down. Up, side, down. Up,
Oh gosh.
side, down. Up, side, down. Yeah, right? It's tricky. So now the left arm will be on 3 beats. So it's going up, side, down. Up, you want to do it with me now or you won't get it later. Up, side, down. And now the right arm's just going up and down. Up and down. So again, I'm calling out the 3-beat arm. So up, side, down. Up, side, down. Up, side, down. Up, side, down. I promise it gets easier, okay?
Both sides were probably hard, but was there one side that was even a little harder? A little imbalanced, yeah. And so all those little things are going to be pointed out in this practice.
And we want to seek out those imbalances. We want to find the weak points and strengthen them. It strengthens you as a whole being. So if we're constantly seeking out the weak points and making them stronger, well, eventually we're not really going to have weak points left because we've strengthened everything around and built it up to the point where we're capable of far more than we ever dreamed.
Can we try this one?
Oh yeah, so front and back. We're going opposite directions. So I like to start at the top. One falls in front and in back, and then we keep that going.
Oh, Issa's got it. I see you up there. This one takes practice. You've practiced it before.
And I lost
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to do this in the pool at swim practice, and coach would yell at me. All right, try to go the other direction now.
Yeah, it's
If you ever get stuck, just start back at the top and have them fall opposite directions.
And you can go slow. Sometimes that helps. If you start at the top and just have one go forward and one backward really slow.
I like to open my shoulders on it too. It just helps to bring them around. Okay.
Alrighty, so everyone find a partner and stand behind your partner and place your hands on their shoulders, okay? So we'll start there. This is a test. Okay. Everyone find a partner. This is not trustful. Similar. Does anyone need a partner? She is partnerless. Does anyone else need a partner? Okay, found. Okay, everyone has a partner, yes? Okay, now listen up. The person in the front, I want you to close your eyes. The person in the back, I want you to guide your partner in the front around the room. Okay?
Without crashing into people.
Okay?
I'm trusting you.
Let's do this.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Where are we? Hello, hello. Oh.
I'm so nervous.
Stop! All right, finding stillness. We're gonna switch positions.
Okay.
Yes. Ready and go.
Oh, on this way. Stuff on the floor.
Okay, stop. All right, everyone, open your eyes.
Okay.
Take a step.
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna do this kindergarten style. Everyone grab grab a hand, we're gonna make a big circle.
Okay.
We can get tighter together, so shoulder to shoulder. Try to bring it in. So many people. Yeah, if the back of the circle could come a little bit closer up so you can see, that would be great. Bring it on in.
We get nice and up and close and personal here.
There we go.
It's not weird though.
Cool. It's not weird. Guys, it's not weird, I promise.
Oh my God, I just saw Jimmy.
Okay. Cool. And from here, try to find some room to take a seat.
Okay. My
Not you, come on.
20, Chris?
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so. Can everyone see us? Yeah? Cool. All right, so we're gonna go over throne.
Ooh, okay.
So to start, I have my feet at the shoulders of my base. Hello, base. How are you?
And so depending on their flexibility, maybe they'll be about here, maybe they'll be right here. It's flexibility and leg size will determine the distance.
For the base, the
Yeah.
flexibility of the base.
Yeah. So I'm bringing my feet. I want to be on her thigh, but not too far down so that when she sits into my feet, just barely my heels are sticking off of her butt. If I'm too back here and I barely have anything on, it won't be good. If I'm too up here, it's going to make her work really hard. Okay, so I want to be back there where I'm cupping her sit bone with the arch of my foot.
So notice how straight his legs are. This may be a challenge for some of you if your hamstrings are super tight, so your legs may be a little bent.
And that's okay.
Ultimately, you want to feel your sacrum, your low back, being pressed into the ground as a base. So you're grounded. So I can feel the ground beneath him right now. The arms are locked out for the base. The flyer, your knees are over your ankles. You're sitting nice and straight, so your shoulders are over your hips. This is all solid, right?
Yeah.
So we're actually going to get in groups of 4 for this.
Yeah.
So right now we're demoing what we call a bro spot. Right, so we have like a little bit of a bro grip here.
Sup, bro?
Sup, bro?
Yeah.
And then at the elbow, so I'd have another person on the other side. So if I fall over, they're helping with the stability. Spotters, your job is just as important. You don't want to balance the flyer for the base, because if you do that and you let go, they lose the balance, right? So you're here as support if they're falling, and you can help them come back into their line if need be. Okay?
When you're bringing them down, you're making sure you let go of the feet and let your feet come overhead. If you hang on to their feet, they could face plant if there's too much going, okay?
So
or you could get your fingers trapped and hurt your fingers.
It is totally normal to want to hold on to your flyer the whole time because you want to protect them. You're actually putting them in harm's way. So it's usually let go of the feet, let go of the feet, let go of the feet, right? Yeah. The first time. So you're going to learn a lot about your communication skills and how you handle feedback and how you can present feedback to your partner without blaming or shaming.
So it's really important that I go this way a lot when I first bring her up. So I want to bring her towards my butt. If I'm staying over my head with her weight, it's going to be really heavy on me and put me in a compromising position. So I'm going right away back into that line. So I want to have the 90 degrees in my hips here.
Yeah, because you can imagine if he were to like just start leaning back, see how much heavier the flyer is? So this is physics, guys. You just stack the bones.
Science.
Yeah, you make a square.
Coming this way, see how my butt comes up now? That means I'm like a tripod. I'm really wiggly back there. So I want
the baby didn't
my
like
butt
it
line.
either. The baby didn't like that.
Let go.
Let go of the hands so she can stand, so you're not standing on his feet. Yeah. Or, I'm sorry, in his hands.
Right? And the flyer, you get to feel like a queen for a second. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like Khaleesi up there. It's awesome. Okay, cool. So we're going to get into groups of 4 and make sure we have some space in between the groups. Okay? Any questions? Tara, what's your question?
We're going to be coming around and helping you too. So.
Yeah. No. And can some of the acro yogis in here raise their hands? So if you have any questions, just look for some of these people. We've got Naveen, Aaron, Sarah, Katie, Chris. So everyone in here can help out.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so groups of 4.
Actually,
Be
you
mindful
guys
of your
can like
space.
assimilate all
Yeah,
just already
all
in
over the
group.
place.
Okay?
That'd
They
be
can
great.
help
Do
out.
it. 3, 2, 4. You want a base? Okay. Okay. Okay.
And then you can have your arms straight too.
And so basically your feet are gonna go like on his bones.
And move it, just if you can move it back a little bit.
Try to get some weight, maybe a little bit lower if you can. And then go ahead and lean back. I'm gonna grab his ankles. Grab his ankles.
It's in there.
Yay. Good job. Oh.
All right, we're gonna circle up once again.
Yeah, make a circle.
Let's find our circle.
Yeah, was it easier or harder than you thought? Or any feedback from it? Easier.
Yeah.
I generally we get that it's easier than you think.
So, and once we start getting more comfortable in this, we can start like really doing strength building stuff with it so that we can develop some serious power. Maybe we can start rotating it.
Woo!
But so it can really turn the practice in from something just static and stretching into something that builds a lot of power and stability.
Okay, so the next posture we're going to go over is called bird. This is something that you may see people doing, like, oh, there's a statue, let's do something in front of it. Okay, so.
I want to be able to touch her toes. Okay?
Okay.
I'm coming to her hip bones. I'm feeling for her hip bones, and I'm putting the ball of my foot right there so that my big toe just goes over that.
As a flyer, my body is becoming a plank. So this is a trust fall forward, okay?
So at first I just lower her and up. She's not bending over to me at all.
Right? If I bend, my shape breaks, right? And my chest falls. So
And then
I'm keeping
that's
the
really
chest
hard to
lifted.
get up.
The arms are back, the hips are forward, okay? And as the base is bending their knees, notice where he's bringing them. He's not bringing them to the middle of his chest. They're coming out towards the armpits.
And the
okay?
middle will block me,
Yeah.
and I get stuck.
Okay? So the first thing you do is, we call this a calibration drill, so we're becoming calibrated. I bring my hands forward. The flyer's fingers are always forward, so we never interlace fingers like, you know, lovers on the beach. That's not what we're doing here, right? I don't want to break your finger, so my fingers are all together. And he bends his knees, brings my hands to his, okay? So I'm not reaching down to grab the hands.
And then I'm going way over my head. If I try and push up right away, every time it's gonna go out there, and it's gonna be really heavy. So I'm bringing her in, taking her way over my head, and then I give steep feet to bring her head up. I have a huge range that I can play with here. And down here is hard for her. She feels like she's falling down. Up here is great. It's so little work for her. And too much, we'll put her right back onto her feet. So we have a huge range that we can play with steepening the feet, so don't be shy on that. That's the one thing that'll make it hard to do if you're being shy with how steep your feet are.
So once again, the flyer's position, if you're on the ground, you're lifting your legs and lifting your chest, okay?
Superman.
So this position is not passive. My glutes are on fire right now. I know I look relaxed, right? So once again, we're starting. He can touch my feet. Okay, so check. Okay, in order for the flyer to get close enough for the base to touch the feet, the base has to allow the knees to bend. Okay, otherwise they're like, I can't touch your feet. Well, base, you have to bend your knees and allow that to happen, right? Okay, so we're going up.
Way over my head, and I'm already given steep feet, even though we still have the hands. I want to make it feel like I'm not trying to push her up there. I'm having her hands get light and come out of my hands. Maybe I use my other hands on my legs to stabilize. Maybe I use them on the ground to stabilize, that's fine. Or maybe we keep the hands the whole time. There's lots of different ways that we can make this more challenging, removing points of contact. Not just removing.
Yeah.
Maybe we remove 2 points of contact? Or 3? No.
Cool.
Okay.
So let's talk about spotting.
Yeah, so first of all, spotting is very, very important in every single move you do in acro yoga. So as a spotter, I'm definitely watching the head first and foremost. You always want to keep an eye on that. And for this one, I mean, I can always bear hug her, so I always want to have a kind of a grip around the hips. So if something were to happen, I can just bear hug her and bring her down safely. So it might be a little shaky going side to side. And if I see her going forward, I'm just going to bring it back in line So I'm here, and if it's going that way and it's really falling, I'm just gonna take her off safely and bring her in close. All right? A nice big hug. Good morning.
Cuddles.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go over this one more time. So to start, where should my feet be? Right, real close, real close. Okay.
I'm finding the hip bones, and I'm putting the balls of my feet there. Toes are just a little tiny bit into the abdomen. If they're not above the hip bone, you won't have a good support. If they're too much, you're gonna punch into their ovaries.
Flyers, it's important. I don't really feel like having my ovaries punched or kicked this morning, right? So if I'm working with a new bass and something's uncomfortable, down. Down is the word.
Universal.
And universal word. If something is not right, if you don't feel right, there's no argument about it. The bass is like, no, but I got it. No, down is down, right? So communicate. Right now, my hip bone is right here. Show your partner. Okay, my hip bone's right here. Let's figure this out. Cool.
This part of the foot.
Right.
Right?
Ball of the foot.
Ball of the foot goes right on your hip.
Everyone's
bone.
had their coffee, right? Okay.
Maybe I try turning it, see if I can turn it and hold it off in the line.
If you can do this on your first day,
Yeah,
let's
right.
talk. We need some more bases. No, but we teach all this in classes, so Acro 101. I mean, every single day there's an Acro 101 class, and this will become second nature to you. And it's basically the down dog of yoga. So it's always coming back to this bird, this central point in everything that we do.
Cool. All right, any questions? Okay, let's still stick with a group of 4 here.
Yes, group of 4.
Okay, let's do it.
What? A
different group of 4.
Okay. Where is she? Out?
Turn your toes in more.
Once you
Good,
kind
now
of
give
halfway
steeper
down, you
feet.
feel his weight, you're gonna push out, block him out. Good. Lift your back.
Point your toes up a little more. Yeah, but if you point your toes up a little more, it'll have it go that way.
I'll leave it there.
Yes, now up. Good. So
right now, it's okay. Right now we're missing the window of your scoop. So
chest up higher.
I have this on my back right now, so it's kind of hard. So you want to get your knee legs, lock out your arms.
Yeah, get those arms underneath you more.
Q&A.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'd like to get a
Good. Steeper feet, and that'll bring the hands out of yours.